Oh, that's that's fun. Okay. It's a new computer, guys. They can't. So he's still trying to fix it. Fix it. Brand new computer, so he's still trying to fix stuff.
Okay. So now they should hear me. Oh, they can only hear me out of their left ear.
At least
We're killing it right now. We're killing it.
Oh, this is great.
Hold on. Copy left to right. Okay. Okay, now you can hear me out of both ears. Hopefully. And I don't know how loud I am. Hopefully the good volume. And Godbear should also be audible in a decent volume. Turn the music down a little bit. So, Godbear, why don't you say something so that we can see if people can hear you?
Hello.
How is Godbear's sound right now? So yeah, it's a brand new computer. This is the first stream with it, and I realized as I was booting up the stream or booting up XSplit, that all of my scenes and presentations are locally saved onto my other computer. So I will have to boot that computer back up and get that re-brought over. I had moved most things over to my external hard drive so that I could shift them over without problems, but I forgot to move that. So for today, we're just doing the scuffed stream. Godbear is fully in control. I just have a screen share on of Godbear's screen right now. That is not me moving the cursor. That is Godbear. And whenever Godbear chooses to go to the next mon is when we will go to the next mon. So here's where we're at with this draft analysis. I guess I might upload this to YouTube. I don't know. Let me click record, just in case I feel like doing it. Although now it's gonna. Oh yeah, hold on, everyone. Now it's gonna tell me that apparently I'm also using the free version of XSplit now, even though I paid for the other version. So we'll have to deal with that later.
Wait,
but so I can't record. All right, so I'll have to just download the stream later, I guess. Yeah, what? I paid for XSplit anyway. It hasn't figured out that I paid for it. So maybe I won't record this. Maybe it'll just get directly ported from Twitch to YouTube. But anyway, this draft is a league called Prep Hub. I don't know what season we're on.
That's season 3.
Season 3? Okay, Prep Hub season 3.
Yeah.
It's a league run by Quincy, and they have just basically brought every one of my friends into a server together and said, do a draft. And I was like, yeah, I'm down. That sounds great. Since battles don't start till mid-August and I'm pretty available. What I didn't really account for is the fact that when battles start mid-August, you draft early August. And they were starting the draft exactly on a Friday that I happened to be flying to Denver, and was not going to be available for about 4 days. And so I flew out on Thursday and then flew back on Monday. And during that exact window, the entire draft happened. And I was very gratefully not required to be present even a little bit. So what we decided to do, I am here with Godbear right now. Godbear has participated in Prep Hub before, I think.
Yeah, I was in the first 2 seasons.
But has chosen not to participate this season. And so we asked Godbear to very graciously spend his time coming up with, planning, and drafting an entire team. I know nothing about it. I saw one GIF that got posted that had multiple Pokemon in it, so I don't even know which one is on my team that Godbear posted. I don't know anything about this roster, so this draft analysis is completely blind. And I don't even know. I guess I'm looking at the screen now, so I was apparently second pick, which is pretty cool. But I don't know anything else about this draft.
Do you know any the rules for the league or anything like that or no?
It's no Terra, right?
Yeah, so there's no Terra. There's item clause, so you could only run one heavy duty boots, stuff with item clause, basically what that does. There's also some really interesting rules during draft where you can't draft multiple things. So for instance, you could see what the first pick is. For us, it was Ursaluna. That means no one else could draft the other Ursaluna. It was
Oh.
like that for like the Rotoms and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's a really interesting thing that Prep Hub does. There's also a few move bans, like for instance, Dire Claws bans. Like some really like obnoxious moves were banned. Obviously, like healing, those really
Rival
broken
Blessing
moves,
and stuff.
like yeah, Revival Blast and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the general basis of like all you really need to know about is just item clause. Item clause is a big thing.
I have played in leagues with item clause. I've played in leagues without, and I have noticed that leagues without item clause, I end up accidentally, just like randomly following item clause, like in
Yeah.
70 to 80% of my battles anyway. But the times where I want to not follow item clause, it's not for the items anyone's ever worried about. It's always like, dang, I really wish I could use like a second assault vest because they just have really good special offense, or like I could, I need a second scarfer, or like whatever. It's never like, oh, I want like 5 boots, you know? It's like, oh, these two mons both need
I'm the same way. I'm just like, I want double scarf.
Yeah. I actually, one of the times I almost broke item clause was like, I think I had 2 Pokemon that were completely different types, but they like, it was like a flying type and a ground type, but they like both wanted a Yachi. And I was like, this is devastating. Like that I can't have double Yachi Berry. Yeah, second Citrus Berry, Joe's putting in chat. Like I've literally like, again, it's never like the ones that the people are worried about that I want a second one of, and it's almost always just 2. It's never like, oh, I want like 5 mons with boots.
It's super niche ones, yeah. It's like super niche items too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been times where I've run like a muscle band just to be like, well, I want 2 choice bands and I don't want a life orb, so why don't you get some muscle band, I guess.
Copium choice band.
Yeah, honestly, we have choice band at home.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's cool. Little bit different than most other drafts then, with the like, I definitely didn't know about the rule of like, if you draft Blood Moon Ursaluna, nobody can draft regular Ursaluna either. Like it takes another mon off the board.
Yeah. It does that for like the Ogre Pons, the Rotoms. It's like really actually pretty interesting because it almost like makes you want to draft those mons earlier, so like you could shut other people off from not being able to draft them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely hear you. I would have highly prioritized those types of mons. Is every mon split then? Like, is Oricorio also split and stuff like that?
Yeah, Oricorio, you can only use one form. Yeah, every mon is split, yeah.
Okay, so you draft like one of it, like Rotom Wash, and then like all the Rotoms are gone.
Yeah.
That's wild, honestly. I kind of like it. I don't know. Like, I guess you often don't face all of those mons anyway, so it probably doesn't come up that much. Like, honestly, only like half the Rotom form get drafted, stuff like that. So.
I think the big one for me is the Ogre Pons, because like I feel like everyone drafts every single Ogre Pon usually.
Well, why wouldn't you, right? Like, they're all just busted as hell, and like that was my problem with Ogre Pon in the TBL too. Was like, I don't want you to face. You only get like 10 weeks, and if you don't have an Ogre Pon but 4 people do, you could face it 4 out of 10 weeks minimally, and then like if you do a rematch, you could be facing it as many as like 6 out of 10 weeks. And I was like, that's just ridiculous, because like if you just have a bad matchup against a grass type, you're just screwed. Like, it doesn't even matter what the secondary type of Ogre Pon is. It's so fast and hits so hard that it like doesn't matter. So that was my problem. That's why I made it like Omnipon, but then it was like that was too good. So
yeah, definitely gonna adjust that.
Yeah, we're gonna, and then I think it's just banned it after that, but which I don't mind. I don't think Ogre Pon is like that. I could have just not banned the base form, I guess, but I don't know. I don't like having 4 Ogre Pons in the draft. So I think that's an interesting workaround of like whichever one gets drafted first, they all just disappear.
Yeah, it's a unique take, and I actually really like it in that sense.
But anyway, so right off the bat, we're looking at Blood Moon Ursaluna, and honestly, that mon is crazy. So there's a lot of mons that are top tier mons, and I say this a lot, that like I'm not afraid of, right? If we're going like false swipe gaming style, like I call this the Kartana theorem, right? They have to be high tiered because they're good, like quote unquote good, and like would be absurd if they were low tier and you could get other Pokemon with them. But by taking your high tier slot with them, they are not threatening. And I think I will say Ursaluna Blood Moon is one of those Pokemon that is always a threat. Like every time it's in a matchup, it's just like super annoying to have to prep for. So I've used it once, I think. But it's just hits so hard. It doesn't die to a single hit. It has priority. It has phenomenal dual stab type like combination, offensively and defensively. Honestly, like normal ground is a really good combination. So
this mon is so hard to switch into, and that's kind of why I wanted to like grab it, like prioritize grabbing it, because I was like, nothing really switches into this thing. Like there's maybe like one or two like actual like good checks to it in the game, I think.
Yeah, and even then, like it has its kind of scrappy likability or whatever. So like, it's just so hard to actually fully shut down. I'm curious if you went like any sort of trick room sub theme in this team at all. Just by looking at this first round, like you drafted the slowest mon, so it feels tempting.
Another thing I do want to point out, like just in case you're curious, is like some of the like really high tiers were like banned, so like you won't see like a Dragapult, a Palafin, things like that on the tier list.
Oh, okay.
So that's also another like thing why I went Ursula Blood Moon.
Sure, yeah. I mean, looking at this,
and I just thought it was like, you could see like all the other mines that were drafted like round one, and you could kind of like make sense, like, oh yeah, there's no like super busted.
Yeah, there's no Spectrier, there's no Dragapult, and without Terra, like, I think Ursaluna is probably one of the biggest threats on the board there. I think other ones that I'd look at from this first round are like Terapagos, maybe Roaring Moon, and then obviously like Garchomp, Great Tusk are just good mons, good all around mons. But like genuinely, Ursaluna Blood Moon kills like 90% of these mons in one hit, no matter what, no questions asked. So just like, oh, Choice Specs Blood Moon, and something's every mon that's on this list except maybe full HP Terapagos is dying. Like,
so good.
So yeah, I'm into this. All right, so yeah, now I'm curious like what you do with an Ursaluna Blood Moon, because again, there's a couple directions you could go with this. Like my brain sees this and is like, okay, first pick like strong special attacker, slow. Like you're gonna need to pick up some speed. You're gonna need to pick up some speed control. And then like obviously types that can synergize with these ones. So I don't know. I think giving that like perspective of, you know, where I would go with this draft, and then seeing what you do and kind of seeing how we either align or differ. I think that'd be kind of. I've never done this before where I've like fully like, here's a team I will be using, and I know nothing about it, and had no autonomy in this at all. So I'm curious.
Okay, so you ready for the second one?
Yeah, let's see it. Okay. Yeah, well, as I said, speed, so you did it.
Endless welcome to the stream. Good idea.
Yeah, no, definitely picking up some speed. Good momentum too. So you can get into Ursaluna Blood Moon with U-turn here.
I do want to preface this. I'm pretty sure we said this, but Dire Claw is banned.
Yeah, you did mention Dire Claw being banned, and I was like, that's a very specific move for you to mention, but I'm not gonna speculate too much.
You clocked me there.
I'm not trying to like ruin the fun, so I'm just gonna let myself like be surprised, you know.
Yeah.
But I think so. Sneasler, and you know what mon it reminds me of, and this is really funny because it's like not at all the same, but is Iron Valiant. It hits so hard and does like its job so well offensively, and then when it's not its time, like Sneasler actually does a better job in my opinion because it has a U-turn, so you can like bring it in and threaten and then switch it out, whereas Iron Valiant doesn't have that. But like, yeah, I actually, so it's funny because as we had Blood Moon Ursaluna, one of the mons I was like, well, I'll have to watch out for, even though it feels like it should check, is Sneasler. Because close combat is one of those, from Sneasler, probably one of those few moves that can actually threaten an Ursaluna Blood Moon from full.
Yeah.
But nope, don't have to worry about that at all. Sick.
Nice.
Big fan of that. So yeah, and obviously like I haven't seen any of this draft, so I am also kind of like looking at, I like that shout out to Finfin who made these slides.
Finfin the goat.
And so I'm looking at the other mons in this round of the draft as well. And again, they're all just Ursaluna food. Like like genuinely
Aviala could take a hit, maybe Tingaloo as well, but
yeah, like I'm sure I don't Oko a Petrarant, but like that's otherwise like Blood Moon Ursaluna goes so hard in this draft so far. And I feel like Sneasler pairs really well with it in terms of like just offensive synergy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Quincy, I got the message on the No Dire Claw. I will be using it only in week 4, specifically to make sure you're still watching all my VODs. And otherwise, I will not be cheating. No, but the other thing about Sneasler that I like and Sneasler is sort of one mon of many that could do this, but like it likes items that other Pokemon don't always utilize as much. You know, obviously there's like white herb sets, or like normal gem sets that like in an item clause league, it has really good value with items that other Pokemon aren't direly looking at. So I think that's really helpful too, because that's something you have to pay attention to whenever you're doing an item clause league.
Yeah, I just think like the combination between Ursaluna and Sneasler, like having like one really good special breaker and one really strong physical breaker, I feel like it's just gonna be hard to switch around, like, and have your opponents really like having a counter to both is gonna be really hard.
Yeah, and then also the type synergy is really solid too. Obviously, Sneasler's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but you know the fighting resist is really nice. So
Yeah.
stuff like that.
All right, you want to go to the next one?
I guess so. This is exciting. I don't know. Everyone else is probably like, this is pretty like tame and like subdued or whatever, but I'm actually super into this.
Yeah, this is fun.
Okay. So new way to pop Unburden that I hadn't even considered, and you picked a ground type that doesn't use Earthquake. So I see you. I see you.
Kind of cheeky, but I think it's
good. Here's the thing about Rillaboom that I really like is not drafting a team that's like weak to ground for Rillaboom. You know, you don't want to. I don't like Rillaboom, Heatran, like all the mons that are like weak to ground. Like obviously there's Sneasler there, but like, you know, I think Rillaboom is at its best when your team doesn't really care about ground moves. It just incidentally also helps against that. And then like 3 grounded mons, one that now Grassy Seed becomes live for, to pop Unburden immediately and get +1 defense, which shores up one of its, you know, big weak points, its priority. With Grassy Glide, man, does it still have knockoff? It must.
I believe it does.
I haven't used a
like
Rillaboom in a hot minute, but it's, and I know they weakened Grassy Glide too, right? Like they reduced the base power, I think.
Yeah, from Gen 8
but
to Gen 9,
it's still a Rillaboom. I will never forget like the 3 a.m. Like I should have been asleep, to be honest, but I had like just this particular battle on my mind. I was just thinking over it, and there was like a million mons and a million reasons not to bring Rillaboom. It was like a matchup against like a Salamence, a Scizor, a Talonflame, like a million mons at all quarters of grass. And so I didn't bring Rillaboom in any of the mocks that I was going through. And then at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I was just staring at the matchup, and I was like, wait, Rillaboom is sick in this matchup. And I came up with this like really specific set that initially I was like, I had like Screech Rillaboom, which allowed it to like OHKO anything that switched in with certain coverage options. And then I was like, Screech is not accurate enough. I might as well just go Swords Dance. And so I ended up with like this SD Rillaboom with like 4 mons that quaders his grass on the other side of the battlefield, and was like, this mon is gonna work. And it did. It got like 3 kills. It was an insane matchup for Rillaboom, but like I don't know. Rillaboom's one of those mons that like I will always remember fondly for like that really weird prep moment where I was just like, no, wait. I swear I'm right here. This is gonna work.
Yeah, I think it pairs really well with all these mons.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a really good start. I do think, you know, so just going off like what my brain would be doing at this point in a draft, after round 3, you know, you're starting to get into like, I need to fill holes and put role players and get role compression. So like, I think to me, right now I'd be looking for something off the ground. I know we just got grassy terrain, but I'd still be looking for something off the ground. I'd probably be looking for some sort of either status or speed control. At this point, and hazards. I feel like that's the one thing we're really missing right now is any sort of entry hazard. So I care less about removal in this gen, but hazards definitely. So just so everyone knows, I don't know what's coming up. It may pop up that he pulls, out like a Galarian Slowking or whatever. And it's just like, oh, there we go. Like we've got some hazards, whatever. But like also that would be a weird mon for you to have here. But
I do want to say Sneasler does get T-spikes.
does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Alolan Muck doesn't get T-spikes, but Sneasler does? What? Okay, sure, yeah. Why not? And T-spikes are really good, so
yeah,
I'm not opposed. But yeah, definitely like rocks or something.
Metsmot.
Okay, so this is the one mon I had sort of guessed. So yeah, when we were there was a GIF of Vaporeon and Glaceon. And I didn't know which one it was, and I didn't know what round it was, to be honest. So I was like, it could really go either way. But my gut said probably Vaporeon, and so this is the one mon I had some idea about. I've been so curious about Vaporeon. You used it incredibly well in the TBL with Terra.
Yeah.
And so I've wanted to Terra Vaporeon. Obviously can't in this league, but I've wanted to have a Terra Vaporeon since you drafted it. I've been so inspired. But picking up Calm Mind is crazy. I don't know how this thing is not more used than it is. Like, it's basically Suicune with Water Absorb. Which is just better than Pressure.
I just loved this pick because I like the slow wish flip turn. You could heal up your team members Ursaluna gets checked, you flip turn, get a wish into it, and it's just that threat is back.
Oh yeah, no, and you have both flip turn and baton pass depending on what you feel like is more valuable. I assume dry pass is legal, or wish pass.
Yeah, dry pass is legal. Yeah, wish pass.
But yeah, and then obviously Calm Mind, Scald is just a stupid move. But this thing gets stored power, doesn't it? Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, it does. It does get stored power.
Yeah.
I remember on that shit in TBL.
Yeah, Acid Armor, Calm Mind, Stored Power, Scald, or Wish, or whatever you want. It's there. The set is definitely there, and without Terra, you can really predict what your opponent has, which is super nice. But yeah, I'm okay. So this start is hot. This is a hot start.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't been paying enough attention to the other teams as a collective, because it's flipping the order. My brain is not able to parse out which mons went to which team. But none of them feel all the mons I've looked at. I'm we have answers to basically every mon we've seen so far. And resists already to basically everything. And I think this is this is a 6 start again. I still think there's going to have to be hazards at some point, and there's going to have to be something off the ground at some point. Also, y'all, you can't see this right now, but on Godbear's screen, he has the slide numbers up. And so it's been 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one is 5.2, which I'm very curious about why
so let me explain why that's 5.2. So let me just explain that real quick. So originally, when FinFin did this, slide 5 actually, the 5th slide, it said round 4 pick it said round 3 pick 2, so it was a typo. So I had to fucking replace it last time. And I originally had a 5 here, but it was just the wrong number. So then I was oh shit, I could switch this real quick. So 5.2.
I've been so curious about 5.2 this whole time.
Okay, so here we go.
Let us pick 5.2.
5.2. We're going to show you 5.2.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So I don't know the tiering. I don't know where mons were, but this feels early for DNC, for me at least. For where I prioritize this mon in general.
Yeah, I definitely think it might have been early. There's a very clear reason I wanted this. I wanted spikes because I believe DNC gets spikes this gen.
Yes.
I could be wrong about that, but
I think it does. I know Carbink does.
It also gets Trick Room, so
yeah.
I wanted to give you that Trick Room mode with Ursaluna.
That was the first thing I thought when I saw Ursaluna and all those other round 1 picks. I was you got to put at least a mon that learns Trick Room on this team. At least give me the chance.
in my original plan, there was 3 mons that on the team, like on my first draft, that had Trick Room.
Yeah. I would love to
That's
use
awesome for you.
a single Trick Room team again. I did it once. I actually did really well that league because the mon that was receiving it was Gmax Hatterene, which is just not a fair mon. But I would love to try it again.
Like, Trick Room was actually my first idea with this team, and then I was like, oh, I could do this like fun like double like Trick Room Unburdened team. So it's like you have 2 different modes, and if you don't prep for one mode properly, the other mode can kind of mess you up. You know?
Yeah. No, I'm a huge fan of that, and honestly, like, I think Diancie is a really good mon this gen.
Yeah.
Obviously, Terra makes it even more difficult to deal with, but like, it's got such solid defenses. Diamond Storm is just so annoying, with body press as well.
Yeah.
And then like hazard setting, Trick Room, as you've said, like, it does a lot, and it's just so bulky. And like, here's the thing, right? Rock has a lot of weaknesses, no denying that. But like, from what you've drafted already, it's like, please bring your water types and your grass types against me. Like, please, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hit me with a steel type. I'm so not worried about it. Except for Scizor. Scizor looks terrifying against this team right now. But otherwise, I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah. I also think you could do like a lot of like fun shenanigans with this thing. Like, 'cause I know you're a creative builder. You could like run like rock polish. I think it's rock polish still. Like, does it get rock polish? I don't actually know, but I feel like you could do some fun stuff with this.
Yeah, no, I've
Alright.
never drafted Diancie, I don't think. So this is actually really exciting. It's the first mon that you've drafted that I don't think I've ever used. So that's gonna be super fun too, just seeing what it actually has, because I've never really delved too deeply into it. And I will say, like, Diancie has been the mon on many rosters that I have been like, I cannot beat. I just lose to it, like auto lose to it if my opponent brings it. And so like, it'll be nice to actually have that. And like I said, it was an early pick, but I feel like round 5 is not unreasonable. Is it 10 mon?
Yeah.
You have 10 slides, so I assume it's 10 mon.
Yeah. At 10 mon, yeah. Okay. To number 6.
Hey,
Oh,
we
look
got
at
something off the
Ursaluna Blood
ground.
Moon
We did it.
And Ursaluna Blood Moon check. Oh, look at that.
But another Trick Room setter as well. Another hazard setter. A levitator. So this is like exactly the mon that I was like, when I said those things, I didn't like picture a mon. This is the mon I was not picturing though. I love Bronzong. I think if other people haven't drafted Bronzong by about round 6 or 7, like, you just pick it up because it's just gonna do its job, you know?
It has so many resists, and I love that I managed to pick this up. Seeing like, I think Bronzong is one of the like better Ursaluna Blood Moon checks because it resists both the stats. It's off the ground, so it can't be hit by Earth Power. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's really good. And I also wanted to get another rocker to relieve some pressure off of Diancie.
Yeah. And a mon that doesn't really mind it. A second body presser is super nice too.
Yeah.
Like, I think Bronzong is just a super solid mon, honestly. And I think it's only gotten better with time. Like, honestly, somehow Power Creep has really made this thing better. Just because it's a really, really good typing and ability. And like, I think it gets Thunder Wave too, which is super nice speed control. It also, I think it gets Taunt, which is like not super useful, but like has niche applications of being incredibly valuable, especially if your opponent's going to try to defog.
I'm not sure.
I think so. Maybe I'm thinking of Probopass, which definitely gets Taunt. Hot take, that mon is underrated. I don't think
Probopass isn't a very good.
Probopass is broken as
Not
hell.
in this game though.
Not in a
With Terra, I
non-Terra
agree,
league, but with Terra, Probopass
Oh yeah,
Probopass
with Terra it's strong. Yeah. I
is
agree.
super good. That mon carried me
Alright,
so
so
hard.
you ready? You ready to see the next one?
All right, yeah, let's see it. This is so exciting. I don't know if y'all are having a good time.
Oh,
I'm having a great
so
time.
What do you think is like? What do you think I would go for next?
Okay, yeah. So we've got our steel, we've got a fairy, we've got a water and a grass. Personally, I've always thought that fire is the most replaceable type. Like you don't need a fire type on a roster in order to make it a
Yeah.
good roster. So like this grass, fire, water, like you can skip the fire in my opinion, but you have to have a water, and generally having a good grass is just a solid amount of resist. Steel Dragon Fairy is also considered to be like a quote-unquote core, where we have not seen a dragon, but low tier, I don't think dragons are as valuable. That doesn't mean there aren't good low tier dragons. Like you could grab a Noivern or something else out of a low tier, but like I don't think it's as necessary. So if you're just trying to like fill roles on this roster, what I feel like this roster's, so it's still lacking a little bit of speed. You've kind of made up for it with priority and like a trick room mode, but I feel like you're gonna go with something fast here. My gut says like a Kilowattrel looks really good for this roster, or like some speedy bird, something maybe with defog too, but Kilowattrel doesn't have it, so I can't, like Halucha, but that might be too high tier for what we've got left.
Okay. So what I ended up doing is I got a dragon.
Ooh, it's not even a low tier dragon at all.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had this many points left.
We had a lot of points actually. There's a lot of points in this league. I was actually very shocked with how like some of the teams ended up.
I mean, clearly, because like it doesn't feel like you drafted anything that would be under like, I don't know what the points were to. I don't know if it was like to 20 or to 18 or whatever, but like Diancie is probably the lowest tier mon at like 8 or 9 usually out of 20, and then like, you know, Bronzong's around there too. So, but everything else would be like, you know, 15 to 17. So
I think Hydreigon has decent speed though. Like it filled, like for me when I was drafting, it filled that like speed gap where it was like like your fastest mon was like outside of the 120 Sneasler, it was like really booming at like 85 or whatever. So like I wanted to get something in that like 90ish range.
yeah,
To not let people like just always be adamant.
yeah, that like 90 to 100 range is super important, like between that, because Rillaboom's 85, right? So
yeah,
definitely an important mon to have. And like honestly, I have not used a Hydreigon since like the very beginning of this gen, so I'm super excited to use it. And without Terra, I'm curious. Obviously, it has Nasty Plot now. Did it lose Roost or did it keep Roost?
I think it lost Roost, but I could be wrong.
Okay, but either way, like another momentum mon, which is super nice. Just ridiculous coverage and just insanely strong hits physically and specially. Yeah, no, I mean that's, and another mon off the ground, which is just, you know, that's what I was looking at, was like another mon off the ground there. But like I went flying type. I didn't think of the levitators. But yeah,
I also
chat's acknowledging a number of
wanted
dragons this round, which is kind of wild.
I also wanted a dark type here because we were quite weak. Like a nasty storage power set without a dark type is just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure we had a dark type.
That's fair. And having a dark type is important. I think in this case it's nice to have the dragon typing. Like that just adds a couple of resistances, but like Hydreigon does look like it was picked for the dark typing in this particular team. Fills a lot of holes and gaps, which is kind of nice. But yeah,
might get rocked too, so it might be another rock or two.
It does get rocked. That's true.
I don't think you want to run rocks on it, but you can.
Well, you never know, because sometimes when those like your offensive mons get the chance to like force switches, and like you just want to like stealth rock U-turn and just get out, like it's honestly not the worst thing in the world sometimes. And if it only really needs its like dual stabs to like go crazy, but there's like a mon or two in the way. And also this team, because of Bronzong, Diancie, Vaporeon, which is like, this is, I am very grateful you just drafted like yourself and you didn't try to draft like me. But like that is
I don't know if I would necessarily draft 100% like this. I don't know if I would, because like I feel like I cannot make Trick Room work this gen. But I drafted in a way where I was like, this is something I think Gold can use more efficiently than I can. But I also wanted to draft like stuff where I'm like, okay, this is still good. I think this is like really solid. Yeah,
and like, well, what I'm saying is like, I think the way this team is composed feels much more like you, even if you wouldn't follow the Trick Room route, like the mons themselves are a playstyle you're comfortable with, right? It's like pivots and bulky switching, balanced offense, and then a couple of like breakers to just like, you know, rip down some holes in your opponent's team before you get into whatever your sweeper is going to be. Which is a playstyle I have seen you use to great effect in the past. You know, it's like this patient, you know, I say balanced offense, but it's actually probably closer to like balanced defense and then like breakers.
Yeah.
And I just like
100%.
I think this team really reflects that, and I think that's going to be cool because like obviously there's different ways to play the same roster, and so like
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't just try to draft like I do, which is just chaos mode. For anyone who doesn't know, and I don't know why people would know necessarily what goes on in my brain when I'm choosing how to draft a team, but I pick some low tier mon. Like 90% of the time, I pick some low tier mon, and then I don't draft it until like round 7, and I just panic the whole time that's gonna get swiped. And like that's not a healthy way to draft. But it's like some mon that like nobody ever drafts, and I just sit there and panic until I finally do pick it, and almost never does it get sniped. You know, it's always like a Noctowl or like a Go-Goat or like Blastoise in previous gens, or I've done Heracross before. It's like a mon that's like decent, and it's like, how do I build a team around this? But like nobody's gonna draft it, so like let me just not take it for a really long time. And so I'm glad you didn't do that because one, it's really stressful, and two, like I don't think that draft style works for most people. So I do think that this is definitely going to be a little bit more cohesive of a draft, and so I'm very excited to like actually have a sensible draft where someone actually thought and planned a little bit. And like looking at this roster, it does feel like there's some intentionality behind it.
I didn't plan really much to BH. I kind of just like would plan 1 or 2 months at a time, and then I would go from there basically. But like most times since we were so far, we were like number 2 in the draft pick. I would like pick like, okay, I'm gonna pair these 2 mons together, and I'll go from there basically.
Yeah, because of how many.
It wasn't like 100% planned. Yeah, it wasn't like 100% planned, but I would just like come up with pairs to sort of draft and make them cohesive.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense because you can't really plan the long wheel. It's just too many picks in between.
Yeah. Okay. Pick number 8, I believe this is.
Hey, here he is. Let's go. The mon I was actually like most worried about. Like,
man, oh man.
Like genuinely looking at this whole roster, I was like, this roster is so weak to Scizor. Every mon you picked is so weak to Scizor. Like that was like the initial, like just dual wing beat Scizor. When you said that,
I was trying so hard not to smirk when you said that earlier.
Yeah, like CC, dual stabs, like U-turn, bullet punch, dual wing beat, or knockoff, and like my team just crumbles. Like, so not having to, oh my god, that's a huge relief, not having to face Scizor.
So like Scizor was not on my original plan, but I think like I wanted a Chandelure, and that was something I was looking at. It did get sniped, so then I kind of had to frolic because I also looked at like CC this team, and you're like, what switches into like a banded CC? It's like Sneasler.
Yeah, so not a lot of fighting here.
Yeah, so the fighting resist is kind of one of the rough things here. But I also looked at our team, and I was like, well, we just have 0 hazard removal. I know it's not like 100% needed, but like I feel like in an item clause where you can only run 1 boots, I was like, we need some form of hazard removal, at least, right? So that's kind of where Scizor came from, and I was like, I know Goldoa loves his Scizors.
I will not deny that. I do love Scizor. After I saw the Bronzong, I was like, okay, yeah, probably not on this roster, but you know, I'll never turn it down. I'm not gonna drop it.
I feel like Double Steel is like good too in this. Like I feel like Bronzong resists everything, and Scizor is like just good at, like, it's like they do different things.
Oh, they do completely different things, yeah, for sure.
One's more offensive, one could be more defensive. They have completely different roles in this game.
Yeah, and mostly different resistances too, or like weaknesses. Like obviously the fire, like shared fire weakness. But my team doesn't have a fire weakness, so I'm not super stressed about that. Like I've got a Diancie I can switch into, Hydreigon I can switch into
right there. So, yeah.
But yeah, I will say you managed to draft every type that resists fighting, and only one of the mons with one of those types resists fighting. Except for Ghost. Ghost is the only thing I don't see right now, but you have a Psychic type that doesn't resist fighting, a Fairy type that doesn't resist fighting, a Bug type that doesn't resist fighting.
I gave up on the Ghost type once Chandelure got sniped on Big Rail.
That's fair. There's only a handful of Ghost types that I really consider low tiers.
Yeah, and that was the only one I really was like, okay, this is the Ghost type I want, and if it did sniped, I'm like, we're probably not going to be able to get a Ghost type here.
Yeah, if you're not going to get like a Fluttermane or a Spectrier or a Dragapult. Like ghosts fall off so fast. I think Gengar's a good mon, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you need it on this roster.
I agree.
I like the way that you've kind of created this, like, there's Trick Room, there's Unburden, there's a couple really good Scarfers, there's Priority. Like, there's so many different ways to play speed in this particular team.
That was like 100% like what I was going for too. I was like, I want to build a team where it like has a couple of different modes, so like you don't have to like. A lot of times when you see a team, you'll be like, okay, well this team's just gonna run bulky offense and stuff like that. But like with this team, you have a terrain mode, you have a trick room mode, you have Scarfers, you have lots of priority. Like I feel like there's just so many different ways you can play this, and it really shows. I feel like.
Yeah, I'm really curious how this is gonna pan out. And obviously, I'll have to like look at the full team and the matchups, but it feels like it's gonna be solid. I do think like
I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna be excited for the last round. I'll say that. You're gonna be excited for number 10.
I'm so curious. We don't have a flying type yet, so my brain is like still like screaming Noctowl. Just a little like ping in the back of my brain. The non-Terra Noctowl is gonna be an interesting thing, but no, I will say like what was I gonna say? There's a thought. Hold on, it's gonna come back. Nope, it's gone. It's gone forever. That thought is gone.
And it's gone.
There was a thought, everybody. Don't worry about it. It's not important, clearly. But yeah, we can move on to the next mon here. Okay. Picked a different flying type.
Okay.
I'm known for here, and specifically now I want to hear your logic on this specifically, because there's a couple of different Oricorio types that you could have picked that would have all been unique new typings for the roster. So why fire?
I just thought fire coverage was decent. I was torn between the ghost, the electric. I debated every single one of them, but this one is a fighting resist, like a really decent one, I would say.
Well, all of them were fighting resist, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I thought the fire coverage felt nice. Like you look at our team, like we have like almost no fire like coverage on the team at all. Like it's what, like maybe Fire Fang Hydreigon maybe.
It's got Flamethrower.
Oh, it does get Flamethrower too, right? But
and there might be. I think Sneasler gets Fire
I
Punch.
don't know,
I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah, but I thought stab fire coverage might be needed. I mean,
it's just Quiver Dance is fun. That's all I care about.
Yeah. I debated between like almost all three of them. I debated between the electric one, the ghost one, and the fire one. I ended up just going with the fire one because it was like, I don't know, I like the fire one.
That's fair. I think I agree. I think like there really wasn't a lot of fire coverage, because the way that like Sneasler gets better is if you can like Terra Fire Sneasler, because then it obviously has like much stronger fire coverage.
Yeah.
But yeah, you also grabbed Scizor, which is like the mon I care most about having fire coverage against. So,
yeah,
they're like, I saw a Fortress go earlier, and there's obviously other mons that you'd like to have fire coverage against if there was an Ogre Pond somewhere that wasn't the water one. But yeah, looking at the roster, I don't think any of the Oricorios would have been a bad pick. They're all the same speed tier. They all have the Quiver Dance defog side of things, and then obviously like
the only thing that like made me almost hesitant about this one was about being 50% with the rocks instead of like the 25%. That was like the only thing that made me hesitant on it a bit. But
yeah, but there's really nothing else in the roster that I care to put boots on, honestly, all that much.
Yeah.
So like I'm not too stressed about that. If I'm worried about rocks for any particular matchup.
It's okay. Your 10th mon wants boots too.
Oh, good. That's what I needed to hear. No, and I also like
gets defog. I think it also gets defog too, so you get another defogger
yeah, it does.
to
It definitely does.
relieve pressure off Scizor. So I thought that was another thing. Like I wanted another defogger. That was
yeah. No, I mean Oricorio makes a lot of sense in this roster. I just as soon as the fire came up, I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I also would have just loved if this was all 4 Oricorios because they all fit so well. Like this actually, how I was saying a minute ago, like I always pick a mon that's like low tier to draft around. I have done Oricorio in the past, but it was Oricorio all. And looking at it now, like the roster you drafted up till this point is like the most perfectly drafted team for an Oricorio all as like the mon you're trying to facilitate. Like all 4 types, it's hard to predict in a given matchup which one's going to be the best because I don't have the coverage of 3 of the 4 types. On other mons, like it just feels like that would be like the perfect team build for an Omni Choreo, but I'll take the fire type. I don't think there's anything wrong with the fire type, and fire is a really good offensive type. Obviously, U-turn's super useful, and just like, yeah, getting a Quiver Dance up, spamming Hurricane
Also-
or Air Slash.
Also, I want to point this out. Ignore the top where it says round 3, pick 2.
Everything was round 3.
I had to point it out. It was bothering me.
I didn't even
Alright,
notice
so you
until you
wanna
said it. So
You want to see your last mod?
yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
You're gonna love this one, Godoy. You're gonna really love this one.
Oh, I called it. I called
you
it.
did call it. You did call it. I had to.
I mean,
draft a
there was no
few, like,
flying
Godoy
type
ones.
for a long time. If it's funny because I probably
had-
wouldn't have called it if you'd pick the Oricorio in round 3. Like I would just never have.
Yeah.
Like, but the fact that like round 8 there was no flying type, I was like,
Literally, the only mon I said during this draft was like, I'm giving Godoy a knockout. I don't care what else happens. Godoy is getting a knockout.
yo, most busted mon in the entire draft right now. I said that you don't have switch-ins to Ursaluna, but try having a switch into this thing. It's literally impossible. Nah, this thing doesn't need boots. This thing's got too much power for boots. Doesn't even need it. I think it should still have roost too. Like if they got rid of roost on Noctowl,
I'm like-
I don't know, but
I believe it has boost, but I have not checked it at all.
but Blunder, Hypnosis, Nasty Plot, Calm Mind, Moonblast, Hyper Voice, Hurricane, Noctowl, Tinted Lens.
Like,
Oh,
this
you
is-
this thing's gonna do so much work.
This-
And
this is the most Godoy mon in my eyes, so I had to draft it.
you know what my favorite lore of Noctowl is, and like I will never let him live it down, is that Jolt came out of retirement to do the like combined league. It's called the TBL, it was the Team Battle League that we did together, and I convinced him to draft Noctowl, and he was so against it, and it did so much work that season. It was the stupidest mon. But we were running like Blunder Hypnosis, so we were running like manual Rain Hurricanes. We were just like having a blast, and I was like, you can't tell me that this mon isn't hilarious. Like the calcs we're running with this thing are crazy. Yeah, did it require us to run like, it's like, oh well, if you get 2 nasty plots off, but like it also has like pretty solid special defense and like some takes some hits sometimes. So
Yeah.
I'm super into it. This is gonna be such a fun mon to use. Honestly, I haven't drafted Noctowl in a little while, to be honest.
Yeah, I had to bring you back to your roots, man.
Yeah, I know. This is the Gen 8. Like when I realized it had Tinted Lens and picked up Moonblast and Nasty Plot, that I was like, wait, this thing could have potential, and then it kind of did. No, thank you so much for doing this. To be honest, like this is hilarious.
Yeah.
What a vibe this team is, and yeah. So the draft just ended. I think they said the schedule comes out on Saturday.
Yeah.
So then week 1 is probably the following week after that.
I assume so.
But like, okay, I'm not gonna make any transactions with this team. Like, there's free transaction window now until Saturday, but I'm not. That's not the point of this. I can't go and make transactions now.
The only transaction I would actually like accept is if you just wanted a different Oricorio for it.
Yeah, if I was thinking about like if it was like Oricorio Electric or Ghost or something, but like this team is such a vibe. Holy moly. Yeah, who needs boots when you have Wish Pass Vaporeon? Like,
Yeah, that's true. Vincent also brought up a point. He's like, oh, you should see the rest of the teams now, because some of those teams are diabolical gold, especially Finfin's. So like, you should totally take a look at those too.
I'll see when I'm matched up against them. They only matter to me one time anyway for that week. But I like this team is to me like good momentum, speed control options, like solid breakers. I think one thing that I would like, it's an interesting team because it's got like what feels to be one sweeper, which is Sneasler, and then like, you could argue maybe Oricorio if you can get it set up. And then like one cleaner, arguably 2 cleaners if you count Scizor, and then like Scarf Hydreigon.
Yeah.
And then like breakers. And honestly, that's my vibe. Like I have so much fun playing with just a whole bunch of mons that are designed specifically to just shatter holes in my opponent's team and just figure out the end game. Like, you know, go 2 for 1 or whatever and figure out which of the 2 mons they think they should sack, and then be like, okay, now I'm up 5-4. How can I, like, you know, utilize that, or whatever. And like that's like definitely the way that I play Pokemon. It's a lot of like 1 for 1s until I get like a 1-2 for 1 and then just hold that advantage, or like kill the 1 mon that I need out of the way for a specific mon to do its job. And like this team definitely feels like there's a lot going on that can help facilitate, like, you know, if there's, for instance, a Bronzong or something in the way of an Ursaluna, and just be like, okay, I just need to figure out how to kill that 1 mon and then just set up Trick Room and Ursaluna can go crazy. So, so I'm definitely intrigued and interested in how this team's gonna function, because there's a lot of potential here, and it's anyone else I encourage to try this, because it is an interesting thought experiment to like, how will you react when you stare at a team that someone else thought was a good team for you? Like, that's always an interesting, like, how many degrees of separation is required here. But I'm super invested in this team. I'm so curious. So, yeah, just so everyone's aware, PBAL semifinals are this Friday. If I win, I move on to finals, and I'll have 1 more battle next week. Otherwise, starting next week, probably, is this prep friends, whatever Quincy called it, league, and prep stars, I think is what Quincy called it. So next week that starts, regardless of whether I'm still in the PBAL or not. But they might overlap for 1 week, or I lose in semis, which happens. But that battle's Friday, so definitely check that out. Be right back here on the stream. It will not be using this team. This team will start being used next week. And what I actually might do, unironically, because I'm trying to get back into streaming a little bit more, what I might start doing with this team, because why wouldn't I, and it's just a fun league with a bunch of my friends, is actually just start prepping on stream. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Like, get somebody and we just chat and go back and forth, you know, Joe, Fin, you if you're up for it, somebody, Playmaker maybe, and just be like, all right, here's the roster, here's the like 10v10, let's sit down and prep, we'll do a mock or 2, we'll, like, you know, just do it all right here live, like a day or 2 before the battle. And I think that would be interesting, because it's also like, it gives a lot more insight. And I feel like my channel used to be very like introductory and educational, and I've gotten away from that. So I kind of want to do that. Obviously, if people cheat, so be it. Like, I'm so past the point of caring. If people are like stream sniping me, that is what it is. But like, I think that'd be kind of interesting to like work with somebody and like have like a back and forth on prepping the team on a week-to-week basis, just because I think it would be cool to get like different perspectives on how teams are prepped, and like and just hearing like my thought process of like, okay, here's where I'm at and here's where I want to be, you know. And I think it, you know, spend an hour or whatever, just with somebody on a call and hanging out, basically like this, and just like, yeah, I think, I don't know, y'all tell me in chat if that sounds interesting to you, because I'd be down. I have no problem with people sniping my sets or whatever. It really doesn't make a difference to me. And just having the opportunity to share that process with people, I think is going to be really beneficial in general. There's just not a lot of like points of entry anymore to Draft League. I feel like it's gotten the barriers to entry have gotten very significant for people, and it's like the skill ceiling has continued to rise in many ways, and so it's just hard to break into that space for a new player. And I feel like having an opportunity for new players to kind of just like listen and hear how the prep happens for players who have a lot of experience is generally going to be a positive experience. I hope that's my sort of thinking about it. But yeah, people will let me know if that makes sense or not, if it's worth it or not. If people don't like that idea, I won't do it. It's pretty simple. But yeah, thank you so much, Gabe. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No problem. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You played in the first 2 seasons of this league, and now you still get to draft in season 3, so they can't get rid of you that easily.
Quincy doesn't want to get rid of me.
That's true. I don't think anyone wants to get rid of you. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I definitely didn't have time this weekend. For those who don't know, I was playing in the U.S. Open Ultimate Frisbee tournament in Denver, which was amazing, absolutely incredible experience. And just getting the chance to play in a sporting event called the U.S. Open in any sport is crazy. You know, like those are usually pretty legit. So that was a really cool experience, and I really wanted to make sure I like was present and enjoying that, and didn't have time to focus on like a draft or anything like that. So this is a much better team and much faster, more efficiently drafted than I would have been able to provide to people. So thank you so much for doing that from me and from the league, even though they don't necessarily know why. Because otherwise we'd still be drafting because I would be holding up the league so much.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very grateful you gave me the opportunity to like actually just focus on myself and focus on that and that experience.
I love drafting. Like drafting is one of my favorite parts of the whole process. So it really was no biggie to me. It's so fun to me. It's so fascinating.
I'm glad. I love drafting too. Draft. There's nothing quite like drafting, but you know, this one is going to be all about the battling for me because the team was drafted for me, so didn't have to focus on that part of it.
You're just the pilot.
We'll see how it goes. But that'll do it for this stream, everybody. This is the most chaotic, most blind draft analysis a person can have that ends in an Octal that we all saw coming somehow. We'll be back 2 days from now on Friday with PBAL semifinals, and then next week with the Prep Stars Season 3 debut of this team. I don't know what exact day yet, but should be a lot of fun. So hopefully everyone comes and hangs out for that, and maybe for the draft, or not the draft, the team building portion, as well as the battle. You have anything else you want to say, Godbear?
That's about it. It was
All right.
a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me draft it.
Thank you for doing it. I feel like I should be just thanking you. But yeah, like you did a service for me. I don't know why I'm getting thanked for this. But yeah,
It's fun.
well, thank you all to the viewers for watching and hanging out. Thanks to everybody for everything, and have a thankful day. Take care, everybody.
Bye.